So I want to start off today with the fear and greed index because it's really crazy to see. If you can look at this here, to the right, here is the stock market. We're basically at all-time new highs, aren't we? But if you look at this fear and greed index where we are right now, if I scroll up to the top here, you look at this here, this whole fear and greed index right now is almost at extreme fear. Now, normally when this happens, you can see here, the last time we had this sort of drop here was here when the tariff situation was happening right now. And we can see what's going on there. So this is, we're either getting ready for a short-term little drop, or we're actually getting ready for a really big breakout to the upside soon. Because normally when there's a lot of fear around the marketplace, normally the market's gone down a lot, or the market's actually had a bit of a drop, and therefore the buyers come back in and scoop it back up to the upside from there. So traders, make sure that you grab access to that free book on the screen right now. If you need some help, grab access to that free book, link in the description, guys. So the one thing that I'm looking at right now, as I said before, like looking at this fear and greed index, is it's just, it blows my mind because this is the NASDAQ here, right? NASDAQ here, and I'll get to the chart in just a minute here. So this is the NASDAQ. This is here the Dow Jones, right? All-time new highs. This here right now is also the S&P 500 at all-time new highs. And all these indices, right? At there. But it's pretty crazy to see that right now, that this fear and greed index, there's a lot of fear around the marketplace. Like even the put the call ratio. And that's what this is here. And let me zoom right in so I can show you. So let me go down to here. This is the put the call ratio. What that simply means is that, as you can see in the past, that through here, there were a lot of people buying more calls than puts. But as you can see, what's happened, even though we're basically at all-time new highs, we're starting to get an extreme fear reading on the put the call ratio, meaning we're starting to get up towards where the average of where the sentiment, let me actually do that again. You can see if I draw a band around where the average fear gets to, right, of that level through there, that's where the average is. We do get obviously these points through here, but the averages is around that level there, which is around that sort of 75 level. So we're getting this extreme fear reading right now, and we can see that this market's actually this is actually getting up through there. So a lot of people are buying put options, even though the market's pushing up to all-time new highs in the markets here. So with that being said, and actually looking at the actual chart itself right now, is the chart. We can see there on the S&P 500, we have low. We've been in this very nice upward trending motion. So what that tells me is that if zoom right in right now, is that if we start to get some sort of break up above this level from here, if we break to the upside, then we're probably going to go for a really, really nice. We're probably going to see another good 5, maybe even a 10% rally, maybe even bigger from there. So you can see here that the trend is still up to the upside. We haven't actually broken trend yet, and with all the fear and greed index where it is right now, we're probably likely to see this thing break to the upside and then probably go for a nice run to have a nice November and also December push to the upside. So that's the S&P 500 there. This is the NASDAQ 100, and the same type of thing as well too, making these higher lows all the way up to the upside. And as you can see, if we have this here, we're just pushing to the upside here. So if we do push to the upside, we're probably likely to see, if we do break to the upside there, then we're probably going to see a really nice, good sort of strong, November and also December as well too. The Russell's sort of just holding here right now. It's not really, hasn't been really doing much. So not really no man's land. Or it's in no man's land right now. But if we do break above this sort of 250 level here, we're probably likely to see that move to the upside. Looking at the Dow Jones as well too. Dow Jones actually hasn't been strong, so I believe Dow Jones is going to start to play catch up real soon. As you can see, it actually broke out above this level, this major resistance level here in the past, and now we're starting to compress to the upside. So if we do break this level, I wouldn't be too surprised to see this thing start to take on some serious price action to the upside from there. And looking at the NASDAQ composite, and the same situation here. And again, with all the fear in the marketplace, it just sort of normally when you get extreme fear is when you start to get least, like you start to at least get this type of action. But now this here is actually set up for a really strong, even though we've actually had a strong move to the upside, this is actually setting up for a strong move to the upside from there. If we have a look at this level here, the biggest sort of, the biggest drops in the markets today were obviously Bitcoin. Bitcoin was down sort of 4% from here as well too, and Ethereum as well too, down 4%. The big thing about the crypto market, this is the big weekly chart through here. So when it comes to Ethereum anyway, this is the big long-term weekly chart on Ethereum. And I actually see what all this is doing is we had a big move up, we've had a big move down. We're probably going to come down to here somewhere, maybe that level from there somewhere, right? And then we're probably going to pick back up and then have another big run to the upside. So I believe this is just an overall nice correction for a while before we actually see the move back to the upside from there. We look at the Bitcoin as well too. If the Bitcoin, this is the Bitcoin through here, you can see my levels. If I go to the actual daily chart, if Bitcoin does continue to sell off, then we have on this GPTC, this Grayscale GPTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. If we do continue moving down, we're probably going to get down towards the 74 level from there as well too. And we can see things like USO. USO is definitely sort of, with oil starting to definitely pick up through here. We're had a move down, had a move back up. And the interesting thing about USO and the oil market is we had this major level of support level through here. What this actually could be building right now is what's called a false breakdown. So if we continue up from here and then we come down and we hold and then we break back out, this is going to be a final bottom before we actually see oil start to make a really big move to come. So watch out for this pattern here over the next month, because if it does start to form that, then we're probably going to be vacating the area, and it's probably going to be the start of a really big move to come. And what I mean by that is this is that major resistance level up through there. If we do rally up, come back down, we're probably going to do something like that, and then we're probably going to start to see something like that. So this could be a big major bottoming pattern coming in the USO area. The XLE market, XLE has been sort of doing nothing here in no man's land. The really big thing that I'm noticing here on the XLE market is these time frames here. This through here, you can see here on the big long-term monthly chart. So I believe maybe next year, we're probably going to break up above 100 on the energy market. And I believe the energy market is about to go for a really nice move to come out of that level from there. So let's go have a look at the actual gold and silver today. So gold today, a bit of a down day today. One of the really interesting thing is, traders, is that one of the things I'm always looking at here when I'm utilizing my trading is I put on just one moving average, this is the blue moving average, which is the 52 moving average. And you can see when we start to get too far away from it, right? Too far away from it, we start to get this is when we start to get warning bells on, right? All through here we start to get warning bells that it's too much, and we're probably likely to come back to it. So a bit of a tip for you guys. That's where my best trading is. I'm always waiting for the pullback to the moving average and then take a trade. That's where all my best trading is happening from there. Having gold having a bit of a pullback here right now. Gold is probably going to do not much for the rest of this year now. I'm probably expecting like a bit of a bounce coming out of gold here, but it's going to be short-lived, right? Meaning we're going to go up through there, we're going to come down through here. It's going to be another one of these times and another one of these times from here. So not much is going to happen now when it comes to gold. I think the stock market is going to steal its thunder, and we're going to start to see the stock market rise from there. Looking at the GDX as well too. GDX, very nice pullback from here. And as you can see, it's all the same type of thing, right? Whenever we get too far away from the moving averages, we don't know exactly when the top's going to be in, but whenever we do that, we eventually do what? Come back to the moving average, back to the moving average. So if we get too far away from it, then just sort of be aware of that. This is the GDXJ, same type of thing, right? Big move up, bit too far away from the moving average when we have a nice pullback. SIL, the same thing, and the SIL and on the SIL are the same thing as well too. And now, one thing I also want to remind you of is the longer term charts that's happening here on all these markets. So if I bring on this chart here, and I bring on, say for example, the GDXJ, I see this I see gold, silver, and all these in a very big sort of secular bull market. And so I see this thing just now probably going to have a bit of a pullback here for a while, and then we're probably going to continue up. So this is the very first leg in a very big bull market from there. I see the same type of thing happening when it comes to the gold price as well too. If we have a look at the gold price from here, this is the gold chart from here, right? If I bring on my logarithmic chart, you can see what's happening here. All this is that we just had too much movement to the upside. We're probably likely to see, again, this is a monthly chart, so it's not like this is big picture now. Look at big picture. We're probably likely to see a pullback, and then we're going to see a run. So you guys that are long-term investors, enjoy the little short-term pullback I see coming real soon, and then we're probably going to see a nice move coming out of this level from here. And this is the same for even the stock market, guys, right? Like if you look at the actual Dow Jones from here, I believe overall we're probably going to we're going to get our 10%, sometimes 20% corrections, but overall we're only halfway through this massive sort of long-term bull phase, right? You can see here we go through these bull phases here, and then nothing, bull phase, and then nothing. I believe we're in another big bull phase before we start to go nothing. So if you guys are long-term investors, this is the Dow Jones from here. This is the Nasdaq as well too. As you can see, very big, strong, big bull market from here. So even if we do get a little movement to the upside from here, right, and we get like a little bit of a correction next year, it's just going to be doing something like that. Big long-term picture there, and the same for the S&P 500. Big long-term picture from here. So even if we do get some sort of short-term drop in the markets, if we get something like that going on, and then maybe next year we get something like that, it's just going to be a bit of a slingshot move back to the upside from there.